Hi ladies. Okay, today you're just seeing my hands with my band-aid and a big cut, but I wanted to talk through a method that I have figured out that makes it a little easier for me and for our foundation paper piecing. Let's start with, this is my finished half, which you've all seen. Let's get my iron over. And I have taken the pattern. Here it is on paper, and then I have copied it onto, I have transfer paper that I use, and the ink smeared, and it just doesn't even matter. So I'm going to quickly just trim off some of this because we don't need all this excess on here. Now, you can do it through straight paper, but I happen to have this paper, so that's the way I'm doing it. But as she showed us on that one, we could go through straight paper. The trick I do so I don't get quite so confused, we're going to put this over here for just a second, is I print this off on cardstock, and as you can see, I have cut out each of the little pieces. If I were making a whole bunch of blocks, this makes it great because now I've got them already all cut out and ready to go. And this is going to make it so I don't waste as much fabric. That's kind of what this is all about. And also so I get them on straight, because a lot of times I've sewn them on backwards. So we're here with that. Now let's get our, here we go. Here's our B. And this is where they're going to meet up. I always have to go that way to start with. But I made it's not an error, but I did do a print that had a line in it, a stripe, so to speak. So I was trying to cut that a little better on the stripe. But the first piece we start with, as we always do, we start with A1. And I have to think about it for a minute. So this is going to be wrong sides, right sides. So I'm going to flip this over. And my A, my low volume, is this dark color through. So A1. And I know that this is going to be the wrong side of this is going to be the right side here. Let me show you. So it's here when I flip it over. Oh, I said that wrong. So this is going to be my right side right here. So now, and I know it's going on that way, I can come through on my fabric. I'm looking for a piece big enough. Let's see. And I need that stripe going up this way. So none of that works right there. I can make a 180. Nope, I'm just going to go right here with it. Let me move this over here. So I'm going to come over here. And I want to make sure. So that's going to go there. And that's going to go there. And the easiest thing to know with these, which are my paper ones, here's my number right here, A1. And so I know that I am going to put it wrong side down with my right sides up. So I'm literally just going to take my scissors, and I want to get about a 1/2 inch, which is in one of the videos that we watched. But I don't have to take any more than that. And so rather than taking a big rectangle, now I've taken this amount here. So I'm going to come over here to my A1, and I know it's going to go on like that. Let me press this again. So this piece is going to go here. Okay, now as she did, I'm going to pin this piece very quickly, kind of in the middle, because I'm going to check my seams. And I do the same thing she does to check seams. So I'm going to roll it over. This is my sewing line, this harder one right here. So I'm going to make sure if I fold that back, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay from up there. My lines are going straight up and down because, again, I've got this stripe I'm working with. So now I'm going to get my next piece. Ooh, and I haven't even decided where I want everything to go. So let's look at that for a minute. Goes on this way. Okay, so I love the one where she put the matching one there. And I think I'm going to do that this time too. So I'm going to match these colors as I go up. So my A2. So I'm going to come over here. And now I've got my A2 piece. And it goes here. And I'm going to use that green, which I've already pressed. I'm a little messy right here, sorry. Not organized in a professional video this time. So A2, I know that it's going upside down. And that's going to be, so my numbers are down. And now I can find where it needs to go, and I can see the least amount of fabric that I want to, that I need to cut with this. So I'm gonna go here. And again, I'm just hand cutting these. You could cut a little closer once you get used to it. For now, I'm just gonna cut a little bigger, but I don't need this extra down here. So I'm gonna take that off. Okay, I get this one pinned in place. I'm gonna turn it back over, and I'm gonna fold on that line right there. Take my pin back out for a minute because it's in my way. Okay, and now, so I don't have any excess to start with. I like an add a quarter ruler. This is the add a quarter ruler, and it literally just, let's take this pin out. It slips right there and it catches. So I'm just gonna cut that away. Don't tell, I was using my cutter on paper earlier today. Okay, we're right here. Here's my seam line. I'm gonna flip it back over. I'm gonna put a pin in here to hold it in place. Probably put 2. Flip it back open. Now my next piece is A2. Numbers would be down like this. So that's going to be my right side up like this. Let's put it on top so you can kind of see. That's how I cut it, my right side up. So now I'm going to bring it, making sure that I've got enough space on all the sides. And I'm going to line it up right there. I can pull that out. If I want, I can come back and check it because this is going to go here. There's up, so my number's up, so I can check all my seams and make sure I'm within my range, which I have plenty all around it. So now I'm going to go to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew this piece to it. So I've got my pin stuck in here. Now I'm going to go to my sewing machine. Let's switch my pins to this side. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to sew down this line. I'm going to double check again to make sure I've got green showing here. Pull it up. I've got green showing everywhere I need green to show. And so I'm going to be okay on that seam. So that's how I check it here. You lift up your gray, make sure your green fits in there. So now I'm going to I'm back. Let me pull my pin out. As you can see here, here's my seam line. Now, I started here and I worked to here. And in one of the videos I watched, or I think the one I forwarded to everybody, down here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 seams that are all going to come and meet in here. So only one do I want to extend beyond, or then my paper doesn't bend back right. So I save that for my last one. So I have stopped, let me try and hold this up. I have stopped right there. And I will do the same as we go. Now I always check to make sure I haven't messed something up here. So there's my fold over. And it looks like I'm good. Where is it? I've got my iron right here, but for right now I'm just going to use my little seam roller. And this is the really cute Violet Craft one where it's all worn off. However, I found that my wallpaper seam roller works really well too. So I've got that ready. And I know that's covering all my areas. So now I'm going to come back one more time. I'm going to fold on that line. And I'm using my quarter seam, add a quarter. I'm going to wrap it right there. And I'm going to trim away any excess I have. There's my next piece. So now I am ready for A3. So I'm going to come over here. Let's review. Put all these up here. A2 is done. A3. It's going on this way. So my fabric, my right side of my fabric is going to be up here. Let me come back over, sorry. And I'm also going to get this out. So that was my dark. So my A3 is my purple. I'm going to get my purple. This is why I like the little extra piece for me, because I stay less confused. So this is my right side up. So I'm putting this down on the wrong side. Here's my purple. And it enables me, look, I can make that fit right in there. I can also probably get it to fit right here. That's a little tight. So I'm going to come back here and do it this way. And I've got plenty of space all around without wasting quite so much fabric. So I'm going to give myself a trim. It's the first two pieces that always throw me off, and I have to think through it. So once you get going, it's a little easier. So I'm just doing that. Okay, so I should have enough around here. So now I know that that's going here. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to fold right here on this line, which is my next seam line. There's my fold. I'm going to do my cutaway. You don't have to have this ruler, but it really makes it a lot easier. Okay, now here's my piece. I know this is right side up, so I'm going to flip it, and it's going to go right about in there. Now I want to make sure. So that's an easy way for me too to tell. I think I'm pretty good on those things. So I've kind of lined it up right here. I can double check to make sure I'm going to make this point. My fingernails there, I'm going to make that point's fine. I'm going to make this point. You could move it around a little bit if you wanted to. I'm going to pin, come back to this side, and now I'm going back to the sewing machine again. Okay, back again. Let's put that piece out of the way, get my scraps out of the way. Again, I sewed through here. I forgot to remind you, you want to turn your stitch down on your sewing machine to about 1.5, especially if you're going through bigger paper. It makes it easier to tear. I turn back to this side. Looks like I've got all my lines covered. I'm going to steamroll that down. Steam that out. Okay. Now we're going to go back on this side. And I'm just showing you over and over again so you know are repeating. And look, I wasted a lot. Oh, not yet. I'm going to go to number 3. See, you got to catch yourself because I went to trim it there. My next seam is going to be over here on A4. So that's the seam. And remember, I started here, so I haven't cut any of those fabrics in there. Find your line. All right. Off my line just a hair. There we go. There's my line. I'm going to trim. Now I'm looking for my A4 piece. Here's A4. And where's my referencing? I'm using, if y'all ever sew with me for real, you'll see. There it is, upside down. Okay, so A4 is this outside piece, which is going to be, this is where I have to think. Oh, okay, that's going to come here. I'm doing A4. Oh, it's my inside piece. So it's my blue. I'm looking for my blue now. Here's my blue. Again, repeat, repeat, repeat. This is my right side's up. So my A4 is coming right here like this. I'm offside, sorry, I'll try and stay in the center. My A4 is coming here, right there. Right side up, so I want my right side up. So let's see where I can get this in here. Ooh, I've got a little slit right here, so I'm not going to risk that this time. But I'm going to come over here, and I can get a good piece over here. So, going across. Like I said, you will save a little bit of fabric. And my biggest thing is I was always cutting them the wrong direction because it takes me a long time. Once you get going, it's really easy. But again, when you're first starting out, okay, so my piece now, we're here, and it goes on like this. So you can see there I am. So I'm going to lay this fabric here, and I'm going to come here and put it here. So I flip that over, and I'm pretty on. I've got good measurements all around. Back to the sewing machine. Okay, I'm sorry if I just keep repeating. Again, I came to here. I've got one more seam coming into this little point, and that's the one I'm going to carry along. So we're going to turn it over, and finger press, roller press. I'm making sure I've covered all my seams. I'm a little tight right here, but I still got my 1/4 inch. So it's going to be okay. Flip it over. I'm now going to fold on my A6 line. And as you can see here, hopefully, because I stopped right there, none of these if I'd sewn all the way through, these fabrics are coming all over the place. So get right there on my line. A6. I'm going to do a trim. Again, this whole demonstration is mostly to show you how I kind of cheat with my cardstock pieces. So I know that's going to go there. I always forget to look what color I need. I'm going up here. Let's see. A6 is green. Is that right? Yep. So I need my lighter green. Number down, right side fabric up. Number down. And see how it enables me to get just a nice, neat cut here on fabric versus a giant rectangle. I can't remember which direction goes. All right, so under. So we know that's going to come over here. It's going to go here. Oh, it's going this way. Sorry. I don't want to see the number. Now I see the number. And I want to make sure I'm going to reach my point over here. I am right there. My point right there. I want to slide this up just a little because I've got the room to do it. And if I fold that over, I'm making all my areas there too. So, again to the sewing machine. Okay, here we go again. We're sewing along. So I started here. I still have one more that's going to come out to this point. So that'll be my long one. And I stopped right there at that line. See, I don't have a ton of waste, which is what I like this method. Finger press. I can roll it. Or I can press it with the iron, which will pull this over here. And I can press it with the iron. As I'm pressing, I guess I should tell you, sorry. As I'm pressing, I'm kind of pulling just a little bit. In that one video, she talked about having a really smooth transition between the two pieces. So pulling it just a little does that. Okay, I'm now up to number 7. So I'm going to turn it around. Gets easier when I'm this far. Now I'm to 7 pieces. Fold on the line. trim. I'm going to find my A7, which is right here, and A7 on here. It already says low volume, so I know I'm back to my gray. And in this case, I need my lines going up and down. So I'm going to line it up right about there. That's where it needs to be. Give myself a little space on both sides. For me, this way, using this little template here, makes it so much easier for me not to mess up. Okay, so I'm going to come back here. I'm going to fold that over this way. Folding that there. I'm trying to get in the middle, sorry. And making sure, I'm going to pull this up just a little further. I'm going to hold where about my seam's going to make sure I cover all my lines, which I do. I'm going to fold it up. Before I trim, I know I'm covering my lines. Turn it over, fold back on that same line. Do my trimming. Now, we've got this funny one here, this A8. And we've got a whole bunch of different fabrics meeting up. But you see, I can fold all the way back here to this corner because I didn't sew through there. Same on all of them. It helps me find that line. Now I've got a bunch of trimming to take off. All right. Put it back around. Oh, I forgot to press this one up. Whoops. Let's see. Finger press up. All right, now I'm looking for A8 right there. I've got A8 right here, and it's going to go in that way, and I know it's yellow. Press this. My numbers on my template are down. That's how I know. That's a little wasteful, so I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually going to line up. Let's see. I'm still looking. Ooh. There's my piece right there I'm going to use. So pull it in so I've got some seams. All right, we're coming back to our fabric. We know that's going to be our up. That goes there, so I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to flip that over. Make sure I'm pretty much covering all those seams. Pull up, and I know I can cover that seam. Let me lay this right here because that's where it would go. And you see how far out this point is, so you got to make sure you're out that far. Okay, now this is my second to my last one. Okay, here I am. It's up, covers everything I need. Roll it into place. Flick it over. I'm going to trim away. There, see, I almost did what you're not supposed to do. I've got that, I had that folded up. I need that folded back down again. I almost trimmed it off. That's another thing I've done before. So make sure it's in place, and we're trimming just what we need to be trimming. And I didn't have a lot of waste that time, so I'm only trimming a little tiny bit. Okay. Up it goes. I'm good to go. Last piece, I'm going to fold down there on that line, trim away. Okay. Now we're going to come back, and I know that this is a low volume, and it's A9. Here's my A9 piece. So remember, I've got my number down as if I were seeing through it upside down. So, and because I've got a pattern on this one, I need my stripes going this way. So I'm going to put that in there again and know that I have to go this way. I'm going to come over here to this side. And that should do it right there. Make sure you move everything out of the way when you go to trim. It'll trim it right off. And I don't need that excess there. Back over to my piece. Flip this over. Again. That went there. So when I flip it over, I know I've got plenty of room all around. I've got plenty of room out here on my edges, both sides. Okay, last time to the sewing machine for this half. Pin it on the underneath side. Okay, now that the whole thing's sewn, I totally forgot to show you my bookmark trick. So I've already talked about cardboard and stuff like that. An add a quarter ruler comes with a really thin edge. If you can see that, that makes it easier for folding back that line like this, which you can do. I slip in a little piece of, this is just a little bookmark that's been coated. A room key is what she used in her video. And I come back like that to get a nice good seam. I can't believe I did the whole piece without showing you my little bookmark trick. So again, that would go on my line back. You can also use the add a ruler. I flip it over to the thin side for this, but I don't think that's as easy as my bookmark. So my bookmark stays in with all my stuff. So you should use that on all the seams, not just the last one. Let me finger press that up. And I have a mess there, but that's going to come off. Okay. Roller. Let's just press it. Because now we're going to trim it and sew it to the next one. So I'm going to give everything a really good pressing down. Again, you can kind of on these outside edges, you want to just make sure those seams are separated. Now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to trim on these lines. Let's see, did I bring a real ruler down? For this purpose, I'm just going to use the ruler I have. You don't have to use this ruler, but this is going to be, as you can see here, this is going to be here, and that's still going to be my seam line. So I'm trimming on the outside line. I went through a couple seams, so holding tight. Probably helps to have a nice sharp blade when you're doing this, which I do not. Still there. Okay. Coming around on all of them. Any ruler works for this. Let me get a regular ruler so you can see. And on here, you can line it up with your 1/4 inch on that 1/4 inch line if you want to. Last but not least. Okay, let's see if they fit together. Oh, yippee, they work. So, and I have a mess up here, as you can see, but I'm not going to unpick it because that's my 1/4 inch seam line right there. So I'm going to ignore it. In fact, again, that's going to get sewn in there. So now I want to put the two together. And what we're looking for in sewing the two together is right here. I'm going to go right through here, and I'm going to find it on the same side on the other side. So I'm going to line up this fabric. I want this pin to come through exactly where those two meet up, and then you will have a perfect lineup of everything. Again, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to put my pin through on this side, and I'm a little off on this side, so I'm going to manipulate it around till they're coming through right together. Poking through. Trying to show y'all, get it in and show you at the same time. There, okay, I'm through. I'm gonna lay that flat, put a couple more pins in. So now for my last seam, I'm just going to sew right down that line. When I get done and open it up, we'll have it here. So I will be right back. Okay, last step. Here we go. Now on this, I am going to press this with my seams open. Let me pull my ironing mat over because we've already got a lot of things going on. And if I were going to make a whole bunch of these, I would not remove the paper until I was ready to sew each of the blocks together. But in this case, we're going to give them to them. I'm going to take that paper off. So again, I am pressing that seam open. Nothing worse than watching someone frustratedly try and press their seam open. I'm going to press from this side. Nice, perfect seams. Now to take this paper off, there's a couple ways. I'm going to start. I'm going to go in with a pin. I'm going to grab a hold of a piece. And I'm going to shred it like that a little bit. Make sure you can see where you see. That's why I kind of like that method she used with that. Get over here under the thing, I'm sorry. Real teaching videos are a little better than this, but I was trying to hurry and get this done. You can see it comes off fairly easily still. I just want to grab a hold of it. Your real paper will too. And you've seen where they use those tweezers that if you don't do these little stitches, your paper can get stuck in the seams. So I'm just going to keep on peeling. Like this. And obviously when I get all the way done, I'm going to press again. And that's my sneaky method of using templates like this, which makes it a little easier. And again, I use a bookmark. So those are some fun little supplies I use to get it done. Okay.